Hi, I'm Pete from Arta Trades, and today I'm going to do a short video on how to select the right oil for when you're doing an oil change. Okay, so the first key to finding the right oil is identifying the vehicle that you're working on. You can do that in a number of ways. You could look at the signage in the windscreen here so that it has the make and model of the vehicle. Also in this vehicle you could look at the chassis number, which in this case is up here on the windscreen, or it may be under the bonnet. Also on the back of the vehicle it should have the make and model to help identify which vehicle you're actually working on. Okay, so once you've identified the type of vehicle that you've got, you can come online and look at a trusted website like Castrol or Shell, someone that makes oil, and it gives us a couple of options of some types of oil that we could choose. With this information there's two things that are probably most important. One is the viscosity of the oil, so in other words how thick or thin the oil is. And the other is the API rating of it. So API indicates the quality of the oil that you're working with. This oil has the viscosity rating on here, so it's got a 10W40. So typically speaking, a number that's closer to 0 is thinner and a number closer to 50 is thicker. In this particular case, this is what we'd call a medium weight oil, suitable for late model vehicles. So now that we've got the information that we need to do the oil change, we've selected the correct oil, we've got ourselves a oil filter, and we're going to need some gloves to protect our hands. We've got a couple of tools, a couple of hand tools here, filter remover and a simple rag. Looking under the bonnet here, what we do is we locate the dipstick and dip the oil. What we want to look at is how much oil is left in the engine after a full service interval. So before we change the oil, we would dip the oil, we would check it, wipe it, dip it again to check the level, to see what the oil level is. Now we'd start the vehicle and warm up the engine so that the engine is operating temperature, so that the oil flows freely out of the engine when we do the oil change. And now we're going to raise the vehicle up to drain the oil out. If you're not fortunate enough like me to have an automotive workshop to work in, what you might have is a jack and some axle stands like this. It's important when working on your vehicle at home that you know how to raise your vehicle, make sure that the appropriate jack is put onto a suitable lifting point on your vehicle, and obviously understanding and knowing how to use an axle stand so that you can secure your vehicle in a safe manner. Once you're under the vehicle, there's a couple of little safety tips to bear in mind. Because you're working underneath the vehicle, safety glasses are a good idea because things can fall down onto your face, into your eyes. We've got our gloves on so that we've got any waste oil is not going to get on our skin. Also bearing in mind that we've run this engine up, so the engine oil is going to be hot, so there's a risk there of burns or scalding if you get engine oil over yourself. Have a rag handy for cleaning up, mopping up or redirecting the oil if you need to, and make sure that you've got a clean and clear work area to work in. Draining the engine oil, so we loosen the drain bung, remove the drain bung, so it'll take a small period to drain out of there. As part of the oil change procedure, it's a really good idea to change your oil filter. Okay, it's not a big expense and it'll be well worthwhile for the engine and the cleanliness of the oil in the future. Simple tool, oil filter removing tool. It's got some little jaws on there. Simply turn and it will unlock the filter from the engine. With the engine oil filter, there'll be a number on here. Double check that number with the filter that's on the vehicle, or check that you've got the correct filter. We've got the new filter here, which has a oil O-ring on here, and it relies on oil to seal it. So when you're fitting a new filter, use a little bit of fresh engine oil and place the engine oil around the seal on the top of the filter. We're going to place the oil drain bung back in. Now, what it's important to note is that there's a washer on top of here, which is a sealing ring. It's a great idea to replace that with a new one before you fit it up again. That'll prevent any drips or leaks once the job's all done. Placing it back up into place and nip it up. We're coming to fit up the oil filter. Now, what it's important to note is that when you're putting your oil filter up onto the engine, make sure that the little sealing ring in the top of the old filter hasn't remained on the filter housing. So we just place the filter on and screw it into place by hand. It's time to top up the engine oil. Turning the oil pack onto its side will give you more room to pour the oil, making it easier to get into the engine. A typical small Japanese vehicle like this will usually take between 3.5 and 4 litres of oil. But what I recommend you do is check up on your spec so you know how many litres you need, and run the engine up to operating temperature, turn the vehicle off, let it sit for 2 to 5 minutes, then use a dipstick, recheck to make sure that it's up to the full mark. Thanks very much for watching our how-to video on how to change your engine oil. Just remember, if you need more information on your vehicle, get the correct specifications, get it online or get it from the manual. And if you want more information on how to change your oil or work as a vehicle serviceman or work as a motor mechanic and you want to enrol in a course, come and see us here at Ara, and we'd really love to take your enrolment and have you come and study with us full time or as an automotive apprentice. We'll look forward to seeing you. Thanks.